So I've got 3/4 of a cup of shortening in here. I've got 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. I've got 2 tablespoons of milk and a tablespoon of vanilla. And I'm gonna whip, and an egg, 1 egg. And I'm gonna whip that up together until it's creamy. Probably gonna take about a minute, minute and a half, so I'm not gonna make you watch that all, but I'll be right back. I've stopped, scraped down the sides so that this gets blended very evenly. And I would do that with a hand mixer as well. Just scrape down the sides of your bowl and then mix again. That's looking nice and fluffy. And this is when I add in my salt, which is gonna be a teaspoon. Kind of always want to add some salt to sweet things because it balances it out and makes it, like, it's not that it doesn't make it sweet, but it makes it a little less super sweet. So I'm going to put in 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of baking soda. In that goes. And I'm gonna mix that again so that gets well mixed in before I add the flour. The alternative is that you could mix all of your dry ingredients together, including the baking soda, salt, and flour, and baking powder, but I don't like to do that because I don't like washing dishes. So I'm just adding it in and getting it well mixed before I add my flour. So now I'm gonna add my 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna very quickly blend that together, and then I'm gonna add my chips. Don't go too fast or the flour will go all over the kitchen. But once you see it starting to come together, then you can increase the speed. And we're there, we're mixed. And that's gotten thick. I'm gonna try and push that off. Get that mostly scraped off, and I'm gonna hand mix in my chips. This is usually the part where the kids come in and start wanting to eat the dough, but as they've gotten older, they've gotten more patient. I'm gonna put a regular pack of chocolate chips is 12 ounces. A cup is 8 ounces, so I'm gonna do 1.5 cups of chocolate chips, and then I'm gonna do about 1/4 of a cup of butterscotch chips. I love this combination. It's just really nice to have like a little contrast. Actually, 1/2 cup of the butterscotch. And then I'm going to mix those in by hand. And we'll start putting these onto a sheet pan that I am gonna line with parchment, but you can just use cooking spray, or if you have a really good nonstick, you can just put it onto that. So that's all mixed. So this next step depends on you and your family. I just like to make as many cookies as are going to be eaten right away, because personally I think a warm, fresh cookie is better than a cold cookie any day. So I only make as many as are going to get eaten that day. So I'm gonna make 2 apiece for Jake, Jagger, and Richard. And using the cookie scoop helps me keep them all the same size, the ice cream scoop. But if you don't have one of these, just find a spoon that will dollop out the same amount for each one of your cookies. So I'm gonna make 6. And you know that cookie dough you buy in the store that's in a tube? I do that with the rest of my cookie dough. So this is gonna go into a 350-degree oven for 10 minutes and they'll be done. So you see how fast that was made. Super fast. That's the nice thing about cookies. It's not a long, difficult recipe. It's just quick and yummy. And then I put out some Reynolds wrap to go around the outside. And the only purpose this serves is to shape the dough. And then I'm gonna put some plastic wrap over the top of this. And I'm gonna make way better than the refrigerated rolls of cookie dough, but with the same principle. You can cook them every time. You just slice off a cookie or as many cookies as you want to eat, and from the roll you're gonna make, and then you have fresh, hot cookies anytime you want. So this roll just goes and sits in the fridge. It isn't hurt by that. It's actually helped. So you just pop this all onto your plastic wrap. So this is my plastic wrap. I've dumped my cookie dough onto it. And then you just pull that plastic wrap over the lump of cookie dough. Bring this up and twist it down, and then shape it out. Just squeeze it out into a roll, a log, whatever you want to call it. Twist the ends, and you have fresh cookies anytime you want to have them. And they're so much better than the store-bought. So this goes into the fridge, and I can use them for up to a week. I can put them into the freezer and they'll store for a couple of months, but they don't last that long. So we'll be done in about 8 minutes and I'll show you the end result. So these actually had to go for 13.5 minutes. I had to keep checking them to make sure that they got nice and browned, but they look perfect. Once they settle, they actually become this really soft, delicious, slightly chewy, but not super chewy cookie. And of course, the requisite milk. It only took about 15 minutes. So throw these out for your kids. They'll be very happy with you. And the taste test. They look perfect.
They're very good.
Thank you for visiting Marianne's Alaska Kitchen. I hope you try these and whip some up for your kids and keep them in your fridge so you can always have fresh baked cookies without having to do the whole process. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment for me. I'd love to chat back with you. And we'll see you next time.